Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, friends, let us assume that right now it is quarter to 5 in the afternoon, and you are looking forward to a relaxing evening. But you see, there is just one important call you have to make, and you have already put it off 3 times today. And you know that if you do not get it out of the way, it will be on your mind the whole night. And it happens every day with all of us. So sometimes it is very really difficult to give yourself the push you need to get on and do some of the undesirable tasks, like whether it is say writing a report or compiling the you see the literature review, whether you want to deal with a pile of files. We all need to motivate ourselves sometimes. And you see that self motivation is very very necessary. Only then you can motivate or inspire others. So self motivation, friends, it is the best form of motivation for oneself, and it is an important element which is required to stimulate the desire in people for performing and giving their best at their work. And people who are self motivated will always want to give their best and also be willing to take various responsibilities. uh, One question: do you sometimes wake up in the morning without any drive or passion? If you say yes, you are not alone. Many people sometimes find themselves struggling to push themselves. So when you feel a lack of energy, you can ask few questions from yourself. Who are you? What are your strengths? Are you happy with where you are? Or do you enjoy waking up every morning to go to the institute for work? Are you celebrating your successes, or are you dwelling on the failures? So, as a person, you need to know yourself, and knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. So, in this session, we will learn about the tips of motivating self. And let us come to the second situation where the HOD of the institute or the head of the institution wants better performance of his or her subordinates, that is, colleagues. Now, for achieving the objectives or the goals of the organization, management wants that its employees must possess, you see, ability for doing the work. When I say ability, ability means knowledge about theories, and some skill also is needed to have performance. So now the question is it suffice? Can the ability or training of people alone bring good results? Certainly not. So in order to have high performance, the management wants that its employees must possess willingness or eagerness to exert high level of effort in addition to their ability for doing the work. Now again a problem before the management: how to have its trained and able people who are encouraged, who are impelled towards the activities of the organizations. And this is precisely what we mean by challenge of motivation. That is what motivates people and how people can be motivated. So we will be focusing on the second aspect, that is motivating others. Now before coming to the concept of motivation, let me first of all, you see, present before you a small quiz. What you can do is you can take a piece of paper, and there are, you see, 10 statements in the quiz. This quiz is before you. There are 12 statements. So what you can do is you can write on a piece of paper the serial number of the statements, and against those serial numbers you can go for 5 point scales, that is ranging from not at all to rarely and very often. So yes, take 5 minutes, read each of these statements and respond to these statements by by ticking an appropriate column, whether it is not at all or rarely or sometimes, often and very often. So you please tick the column that most applies to. Okay, so take 5 minutes. So there are 12 statements. Please take a piece of paper and write only the serial number of statements. You can also take the pic of this particular slide and respond in a 5 point scale ranging from not at all to rarely to sometimes to often to very often.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, this is Ashish Kumar Tripathi from GITM Lucknow Center.
Okay.
So I want to, make my answer clear in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So for first question, uh, I I I would like to tell the answers actually.
No, don't tell me the answer. Only you tick mark. Then I'll tell you how to score it.
Okay, sir.
So have you responded to all the 12 statements?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what you can do is
Yes.
now please put a tick mark on serial number 1,
Okay.
7, 8, 10, and 11.
Okay, sir.
So put a tick mark on 5 statements: 1, 7, 8, 10, and 11.
Okay, sir.
Now to these statements, if you have responded to not at all, give
Okay.
a score of 5. If you
Okay.
have responded to rarely, give a score of 4, 3
Okay.
score to sometime, 2 score to often, and 1 score to very often.
Okay. Okay.
So I repeat, uh, please tick mark on serial number 1, 7, 8, 10, and 11. So 5 statements. So for these 5 statements, if you have responded to not at all,
Mm.
give a score of 5, 4 score to rarely, 3 score to sometime, 2 score to often, and 1 score to very often.
Okay, sir.
And for rest of the 7 statements, you score in reverse. That is, if you have responded to not at all, give a score of 1, 2 score to rarely, 3 to score to sometime, 4 to often, and 5 to very often.
Okay,
And
sir.
write in the chat box the total score.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Sir, please repeat again 1, 8, 10, and
I
11.
have
No, no.
written in chat, madam.
One,
1, 7,
7, 8,
8,
10, and
10,
11.
11. I have written in chat also. For not at all, you have to give 5. Likewise.
So please give the total score. So 1, 7, 8, 10, and 11 for these statements. Give a score of 5 if you have responded to 5, if you have responded to not at all, 4 to rarely, 3 to sometime, 2 to often, and 1 to very often. And for rest of these 7 statements, you score in the reverse. So please write in the chat box the total score which you have got. 48, 49,
So this is 54. That's okay.
You
54.
can write IMT, GITM. You can write multiple also. Na others who what they are getting, because we are, sir, we have some remote centers
Hmm,
also.
hmm, 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 hmm. So 48 is the minimum, 54 is the highest. So this is the range. Please write your score in the chat box. All of you are requested. 50, 47, and 50. 54 is the range. So okay, if this is the range, that is 47 and 54. So let me interpret the scoring part. If your scores fall between 44 and 60, I think all of you have got scores between 44 and 60, because minimum is the 47 and maximum is the 54. So I'll say wonderful. You get things done and you don't let anything stand in your way. You make a conscious effort to stay self motivated, and I think you spend significant amount of time and energy effort on setting goals and acting to achieve those goals. And I think you are the one who attracts and inspire others with your success. So please treasure this and be aware that not everyone is as self motivated as you are. Now you can go to the quiz again. In case for any statement you have got a score of say 2 or 3 or 1, please identify those weak areas and try to go towards 4 or 5. So you have to act upon in those areas where you are getting a low score, that is score of 2 or 1 or 3. So friends, in nutshell we will say self motivation is the force that keeps pushing us to go on. It is our internal drive to achieve, produce, develop, and keep moving forward. When you think you are ready to quit something or you just don't know how to start, your self motivation is what pushes you to go on. So, with self motivation, you will learn, you will grow. That is why it is such a fundamental tool for reaching your goals, for achieving your dreams and succeeding in this journey we call the life. So, before coming to the tips of managing self and others, let us first of all learn about what we mean by motivation. So, motivation, friends, is concerned with why of energy, why of behavior, the reason behind people putting in effort. Now, you see this image. We say to motivate others, you need to be motivated. Okay, so you can ask few questions. Are you motivated to achieve what you really want in life, and how hard do you push yourself to get things done? So motivation is nothing but it is concerned with why of behavior, the reason behind people putting in effort. It is the process which leads the individual to attempt to satisfy some need. As I said earlier, that performance is a function of both the ability and motivation. If you possess knowledge and skill, but you are not eager, you are not willing to exert high level of effort, definitely your own performance and performance of your team is going to be low. So in order to enhance the performance of your own self or for your colleagues, you need to be willing, you need to eager, you need to inspire, you need to motivate yourself. So motivation has been taken from a Latin word that is movere, Movere. It means to move, it means moving the people, moving the organization most effectively to reach the goals. So, motivation is nothing but the emotional stimulus that causes us to act, a need, a drive that energizes certain behavior. Motivation refers to motives in action. What is motive? Something that makes a person act in a particular way. And motives are, you see, expressions of a person's needs. The strength of each motive, the pattern of motives influences one's perception of thoughts, actions, words. And friends, motivated behavior is always a goal directed behavior, and the strength of motive tends to decrease if it is either satisfied or blocked from satisfaction. So it is nothing but igniting the spark for action. It can persuade, it can convince, it can propel you into action. So in order to motivate the colleagues to work for the goals of the department or the organization, the HOD or the head of the institution has to determine the motives, that is, the needs of the colleagues that call for satisfaction. So now I have used two terms. One is motivation, second is satisfaction. I have already told you about motivation. Motivation means the drive, the effort to satisfy a want, to satisfy a goal. Whereas satisfaction is the contentment, isn't it? Contentment experienced when a want is satisfied. So, in other words, we can say that motivation implies a drive toward an outcome, and satisfaction is the outcome which is already experienced. So, motivation is the process, it is one of the causation, and it is related to both the intrinsic forces within the person and the external stimuli which are perceived by the individual as incentive, reward, or goal to be pursued. Now look at this pic. Now what are you seeing? A girl is trying to make horse to drink water, but it is not taking. So you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink. But you can make a horse want to drink by giving it plenty of salt first, isn't it? And this reasoning can be applied to the department, organization, or even the classroom. Now, in the institution, people resist to work. In the classroom, you cannot force your students to learn, but you can always make them want to work or make them want to learn by salting, SALTING, salting your technique for creating the interest and gaining the attention. So you have to provide varied experiences in the classroom in order to motivate your students towards the goals of the lecture. So motivation is what makes people put real effort and energy into what they do. It is getting people to willingly and well those things which have to be done. So question is, can I be motivated by others? No, people motivate themselves. What someone can do, however, is inspire them to motivate themselves. It means people have to create environment themselves that is motivating. Now let me explain briefly the process of motivation. So as I said that motivation begins with a need that exists within us all. If your need is strong enough, for example, say acute hunger, or you are thirsty, you will not be able to concentrate on anything else unless and until that need for food or thirst has been taken care of. So, if the need is not satisfied, it causes inner tension. It may be physical tension or psychological tension. Now, in order to relieve tension, the individual engages in some action, means he prepares a roadmap, he prepares an action plan. The purpose is to reduce the tension or to relieve the tension, that is to get the relief. And if he gets relief, it means his need is satisfied. So the individual wants to do something that will satisfy the perceived need. Now, if the need is satisfied, that is, if the goal is achieved, the individual will usually engage in some form of constructive behavior, isn't it? And if the need is not satisfied, that is, if the goal is not achieved, now the individual has a choice of behavior with positive or negative result. So I'll say that please prepare 2 3 alternatives also. That is, if you have thought of one action, you have taken one alternative, and you think that this is not going to get you relief, then you need to you see go for the second alternative or third alternative. Now, coming to two kinds of motivation. Extrinsic motivation, it is not inherent, it is something which is administered by some external agent. Now external agent is the senior people in the organization, that is HOD in the department. If HOD says, Ramesh ji, you have submitted a wonderful report. Ramesh ji, you have submitted a wonderful report. Likewise, in the classroom, when a student answers a question, teacher says, Samir ji, your answer is perfectly all right. That motivates the person. At home, father or mother is the external agent, and in the department, as I said, or in the college, as I said, it is the teacher. So it is
GITM, you want to ask something? You have raised a hand.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Sir,
हाँ हाँ जी
okay.
बोलिए.
So, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Actually, session is very good and very motivating, sir. Thank you. So there is a few confusions from our side. So what would be the state of mind of a self-actualized person?
I,
मतलब which
I,
kind of?
I'll I'll come to that self actualization also. Please wait for another 5 minutes.
Okay, okay,
I-
okay,
I'll
sir.
I'll go to the self actualization also. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, okay.
So as I said, extrinsic motivation is not inherent. It is something which is administered or imposed either on the task or on the individual by some external agent. जैसे घर में से mother wants to give glass full of milk to a child who is 3 to 4 years old, but the child doesn't drink milk. What the mother says, take milk, I'll get you softy. So the child is taking milk only in order to obtain that softy. Now next day again, the child doesn't want to drink milk. Mother says, okay, we'll give you toffee, chocolate. So every time you are, when giving the external motivation to get the work done, the other person will be dependent upon the individual. Okay, he will not be independent. So you need to inspire the individual in the beginning. Gradually you need to explain the importance of that particular event. Once he appreciates the importance of a particular event, he or she is likely to give his or her 100%. So this is when you are motivated by external factors that are given or controlled by others, for example by salary, by some monetary incentive, or by praise also, because many people do not want the incentive, they want simple appreciation. So मैंने आपको एक एग्जांपल दिया. Please build up a system, put in some effort, and try to remember the names of your colleague, names of your students. Why? Because a person's name is to him or her the most important and most sweetest sound. तो जब आप बोलते हो नीरज जी आपने बहुत अच्छा काम किया, हाँ, even if you want to give him some feedback, start with positive. Ramesh ji, you have been submitting the proposal in the past, very good proposal, but this time this proposal had got some spelling error, as well as the components of the proposal are not in a proper sequence. So you are giving the individual a positive kind of feedback. So extrinsic motivation drives oneself to do things for tangible rewards, pressures, rather than for the fun of doing it. For example, supermarkets use loyalty card, discount, money is the most obvious example, but coercion, threat of punishment are also considered as common extrinsic motivation. In sports, the crowd may cheer the performer on, trophies are also extrinsic incentives, and like that. Now, coming to the second component, that is the intrinsic motivation, it is inherent. For example, feeling of happiness that working on some problem produces. You are doing for your own self, for your own satisfaction, not to show to others. Feeling of pride that learning to spell some difficult word correctly causes, isn't it? खुशी खुद को खुशी महसूस होती है. So what has been internalized and is the drive to do things for their own sake or for self reward or for self satisfaction, that is intrinsic motivation. And this is when you are motivated by internal factors. Why you do? Because you enjoy. For example, many hobbies, say someone is in the habit of going for a morning walk every day or evening walk every day, whether it is a hot season, whether it is very cold. Someone plays badminton in the evening. He is doing the activity not to show to others. He is doing the activity because he or she enjoys it, and not because he or she has to do it. So when you are doing something for your own self, that is the self motivation, that is intrinsic motivation. So coming to the approaches to motivation, we will not study the theories of motivation because you are not concerned. We'll talk about only the implications of the theories. Motivation can be considered as a person's resistance to work or to learn. So there are many ways which can be used to minimize a person's resistance to work or a student's resistance to learn. One approach is the behavioristic approach, which is nothing but the extrinsic motivation. That is reinforcement of desired behavior through external motivator. It is something which is administered by some external agent. So behavioral perspective emphasizes the reinforcement of desired behavior. वो कैसे होता है? When someone does a small piece of work or any piece of work, you appreciate his or her effort by saying, wonderful, you are correct. That reinforces a person's behavior. You have to you have to be moderate. Never give so many incentives to an individual, because the individual would be dependent upon that only. So do not overdo it. Initially you can inspire by giving some incentive, but gradually you need to motivate him or her intrinsically. Now coming to behavior modification. What is behavior modification called as? It is learning. To learn is to modify behavior. Now there are three components. One is the stimulus, second is the response, third one is the reinforcement. So when I say that stimulus is any object, any person, any event that leads to a response, whereas a response is nothing but a unit of behavior that follows the particular stimulus, and reinforcement is the consequence of the response. So if a particular stimulus response pair is accompanied by a desirable consequence or reinforcement, then it will be more likely that the stimulus involved will prompt the same behavior or same response in the future. Now you see there are four techniques which can be employed to you see modify the behavior of the individual. One is the positive reinforcer. We'll start from the positive one. What is positive reinforcer? A consequence that facilitates or that encourages the repetition of a given behavior is positively reinforcing. Reinforcers may be either primary or secondary, and primary reinforcers, you must agree with me that it is the water, food, that is the physiological needs. And the secondary Reinforcers could be praise, some money, some monetary incentive or promotion, etc. So most individuals regard these as pleasant, isn't it? And are therefore likely to repeat behaviors which help them earn these rewards. Now you have to be very careful. What acts as a reinforcer for one may not be for another. As an individual or as a HOD or as a teacher in the classroom, you need to know the needs of different individuals, and reinforcers can be provided accordingly. Now coming to the second technique, that is negative reinforcement. It is also called as avoidance learning. That is giving a person the opportunity to avoid a negative consequence by exhibiting a desired behavior. That is giving feedback, constructive feedback. And this takes place when individuals learn to avoid or escape from unpleasant consequences. You see, we drive safely in order to avoid accident, isn't it? So you have to give positive. मैंने आपको example दिया. When the HOD says, Ramesh ji, in the past you have been submitting very good assignment, but this time this contains some spelling errors, or the components are not properly organized. So what the individual will do, he will try to incorporate spell check, and he will try to see that the sequence is maintained. Why? In order to avoid future criticism. That is, when he is submitting the proposal next time, he will be incorporating spell check. He will be seeing that the components or steps are in a sequence, so in order to avoid future criticism. So this type of feedback, not like this work is typical of you, short on facts and badly presented. रमेश, जिस तरह का तुम्हारी शक्ल वैसा काम करके लेके आया, very poor. So this kind of feedback will not be acceptable to any individual. Okay. So the first two techniques, that is positive reinforcers and negative reinforcement, can be used to increase the frequency of desirable behavior. Now coming to the third, that is extinction. This involves providing no positive consequence or removing previously provided positive consequence as a result of a person's in undesirable behavior. You are ignoring, okay, you are not giving any kind of attention. Fourth one is punishment. This involves providing a negative consequence as a result of a person's undesirable behavior. Of course, punishment has to be given in private. Positive reinforcement can be given in public. So you can call the individual in your chamber, uh, in not in the presence of others, only on one-to-one basis. You can ask for the reason. So the later two techniques, that is extinction and punishment, can be used to decrease the frequency of undesirable behavior. So this behavioral perspective is based upon a psychological law of effect, which states that behavior which is accompanied by satisfaction or reward on the part of individual is likely to be permanent or repeated than the behavior which is accompanied by dissatisfaction or failure on the part of the individual. Now coming to the second uh, one, cognitive perspective. This involves intrinsic motivation. Those who are intrinsically motivated likely to prefer challenging work. They don't like the simple work or mediocre type of. They want to give their maximum. They identify themselves incentive to work for their own satisfaction. They are independent, that is, they attempt solutions to problem on their own. They are not dependent. Okay. Now coming to the third approach, which was given by Abraham Maslow. According to this approach, when a person is actually motivated, he or she is in a state of tension and is ready to undertake a particular course of action which is consistent with his or her feelings. And Abraham Maslow has arranged human needs in the form of a hierarchy. And at the base of the hierarchy, he has kept the physiological needs, which include the need for food, water, shelter, other things like sleep, etc. Because these are essential for survival. So, unless these needs are satisfied to the degree necessary to maintain life, other needs will not motivate. Okay, that is why Abraham Maslow said that once the lower level needs are met to the degree that is necessary to maintain a person's life, other need in the hierarchy will not get activated. So in the work environment or in the workplace, adequate air conditioning, heating, cafeteria is also necessary, and even other satisfactory working conditions, these can be designed to meet some of these needs. Like जैसे आपने इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में बच्चे हैं, हर 2 लेक्चर के बाद देयर शुड बी अ ब्रेक ऑफ 10 minutes so that they can go to drink water or they can have some food etc. because सुबह से चले हुए आ रहे हैं. आपका सीटिंग अरेंजमेंट प्रॉपर होना चाहिए, हीटिंग, वेंटिलेशन, सब कुछ होना चाहिए. नाउ कमिंग टू द नेक्स्ट नीड इन द हायरार्की, that is need for protection. Need for protection against danger, deprivation of physiological needs, that is need for safety, stability, order, freedom from fear, from threat. So you can provide safe working conditions, maybe job insurance, job security, or other facilities which are necessary. For example, you have put posters on precautionary measures in the laboratory, but as a teacher you are not wearing the lab coat, you are not adhering to the guidelines. How you can expect your students to, you see, uh, take precautionary measures? Now after this, the need for love, need for affection, and be part of the group. So these needs deal with emotional and mental well-being. Many people are more likely to be motivated when they work as members of a team. Okay, so social need arises. Many people want to be in the company of their colleague. Suppose I give you some task in a group, and I say that you will not be talking to your colleagues. Do this task individually. I think this kind of task will not be liked by you. You want to be in the company of your friends. So, social needs focus around our desires for love, affection, acceptance, and meaningful application with other friends. So, these needs can be satisfied in the workplace by encouraging camaraderie or friendship, etc. Then arises self esteem need. I think you know about esteem. It is a term that describes how you feel about yourself. Ego needs. We also call it ego needs. These include our needs for need for respect from self, from others. You see, if a student, one student has strong need for self-esteem. Now, after giving answer to a question, he expects appreciation from the teacher. He expects that the teacher is, you see, accepting his response and saying, "Wonderful, your answer is correct." Now, if you don't, you see, appreciate an individual's effort, he will be not willing to, you see, respond in the future next time. So, need for self. So, there are internal esteem factor like self-respect, autonomy, achievement, external esteem factor like recognition, attention, respect from others, and then coming to जो मेरे फ्रेंड ने बोला था सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन नीड, that is the need to develop skills and potentialities to become what one believes one is capable of becoming. That is tendency of the individual to become in actuality what he or she is potentially. Now, the persons who have attained self actualization need either have become sports persons, poet, singer, musician, athlete, etc. Now, this uh, approach says that once the lower level need is met, only the next in the hierarchy gets activated. But this approach has failed because there are many people in the society. You will also know that they have attained self actualization need, but their lower level need, even the physiological needs, are not are not met. Bismillah Khan, and there are many people. Now, the question is whether we ever fully actualize, whether we ever fully actualize. अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं, how many of you wanted to become teacher when you were in the class 11 and 12? आपने सोचा होगा कि मैं उस जगह जाऊंगा, वहां करूंगा, ये काम करूंगा, and not a teacher. So many of us have joined teaching profession not by choice, by force, because we could not get the opportunity or job opportunity in other areas. Now the question is whether we ever fully actualize. I think the answer lies in the individual. Why I say? Because people actualize at different levels. Some people, for example, are satisfied with a bachelor's degree from a local polytechnic or engineering degree college, whereas others feel a need for a master's or doctoral degree from a prominent institute or university. They are trying again and again. They are writing paper. Okay, they have got the job. Some individuals reach their full potential at a simple job. Others have a capacity for beyond that level. So some self-actualized individuals tend to be creative and will thrive on feedback. So Maslow, he believed that we generally satisfy these needs in a hierarchical order, fulfilling the lower order needs first before moving on to the higher order needs. So, but he further added that we can move up and down the hierarchy depending upon the situation at hand. Okay, now we'll move to uh, some of the factors that usually demotivate us. And I think I have listed down some of the factors based upon the feedback I got from large number of individuals, and I think you will also agree with me with this list. Firstly, it is the negative criticism. That is, when you are giving negative criticism, or a person indulges himself or herself in negative self talk. I cannot do this. This is not my cup of tea. I won't be able to do it. Okay. So if you are in such a situation, what you can do is, I suggest you stand and then say 10 times, yes I can do it, yes I can do it, yes I can do it. You will get lot of energy. Don't indulge in negative self talk. Be positive and say yes, yes, yes I can do it, yes I can do it. Then, coming to public humiliation. Okay, when one person is humiliated in the presence of his or her colleagues, that demotivates the individual. Rewarding the non-performers, you are biased. Person has done a good job, but still you don't like him or her, so that is why you are ignoring that individual. Failure or fear of failure. Success that leads to complacence, that is, you don't focus on planning aspect. So if you are not planning the activity or prioritizing the activities, you will likely to fail on certain occasion. Lack of direction. Say HOD has sent a letter to the colleague with the remark, Ramesh ji, please discuss or please speak. कई बार आपके पास ऐसा जो है आपके पास रिमार्क आया होगा, है ना? Now Ramesh ji got this letter with remark, and he has kept that letter in his drawer. And after 2 days, he goes to the HOD, sir, you have called me for discussion. Now, the HOD fires the individual. Why didn't you come earlier? You are coming after 2 days. The employee says, sir, you have not indicated the time and date. You have simply written, please discuss or please speak. Now, HOD say, okay, so now you have come. Have you done this? Have you done that? Sir, you have not told anything. So without communicating properly, the HOD is firing the individual. लेकिन यहाँ पर इंडिविजुअल को भी ये काम करना है. On receiving this kind of remark, please, you can call him on an intercom, sir, what do you expect from me in this particular task, and when should I meet you? So next time, the HOD will give clear-cut instruction. Ramesh, I am sending you proposal. Please prepare its comparative chart and come to me tomorrow at 10 o'clock in my chamber. इसी तरह there are lack of measurable objectives. You see, we ask our students a question like, what are Newton's laws of motion? Now the student is confused. This question would be interpreted differently by different students. One student thinks, okay, I'll go for only the statement of three laws. Another thinks, okay, I'll explain each of the three laws with one example each. Another student tries to give two examples, because the question was, what are Newton's laws of motion? Now, when it comes to scoring part, the student who has explained all the three laws with two examples would get complete full marks. So the question should have a clarity. The question should be like, describe each of three Newton's laws of motion with one example. Now in this case, the scope of the answer is clearly indicated in the statement of the question. Low self
Shruti,
esteem.
Shruti Singh wants to ask something. Yes, ma'am. She's raising her
हाँ
hand.
जी, हाँ
Lack of,
जी.
she has written lack of appreciation sometimes
Yes, yes,
also demotivate a person.
yes,
Shruti
yes.
Singh?
हाँ,
Yes, sir.
yes.
I would like to add
You
this.
are
Like,
you are right. You are right. वो तो मैं कह ही रहा हूँ. Appreciation is must. You see, you have to be liberal in giving
yes,
appreciation.
yes, sir. Yes,
तो
sir.
अगर आप लिबरल हैं, you can keep all your colleagues, all your students in the palm of your hand. It costs nothing. लेकिन ये जो appreciation है, it should come from within. ये नहीं कि
Yes,
आपने जो है बोलने के लिए बोला, हाँ,
yes,
वो
sir.
आपके अंदर से आनी चाहिए. You are right, very right, श्रुति जी.
Yes, sir.
So low self esteem है उसकी, लो he knows many things, ठीक है, इंडिविजुअल, लेकिन ही यू सी डजंट वांट टू से समथिंग कि भी दूसरे लोग हंसेंगे, लेकिन आपको उनका मोरल बूस्ट करना है कि जैसा मर्जी आप बोलो, चाहे हिंदी में बोलो चाहे पंजाबी में बोलो, प्लीज कम आउट. यू नीड टू प्रायोरिटाइज एक्टिविटीज. देखिए, मैं आपको पूछता हूं, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू प्रिपेयर ए टू डू लिस्ट फॉर नेक्स्ट डे? कितने लोग बनाते हैं? कुछ लोग कहेंगे कि हम तो माइंड में रखते हैं, कुछ लोग बोलते हैं हम उनको मोबाइल फोन में लिख देते हैं. नो, प्लीज हैव ए पीस ऑफ पेपर, राइट व्हाट आर द एक्टिविटीज you want to do next day. That is, this list has to be prepared before leaving the institute. Okay, तो ये ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट जब सामने है, अगले दिन जब आप इसमें यू कैन इंक्लूड योर पर्सनल एक्टिविटीज ऑल्सो, पर्सनल वर्क से जो आपको मोबाइल चार्ज करवाना है, मे बी आपको स्कूल के बच्चे की फीस डिपॉजिट करानी है, मे बी आपको पानी का बिल जमा कराना, बिकॉज ऑल दीज एक्टिविटीज यू कैन इंक्लूड. सो यू विल बी देन ऑर्गेनाइज पर्सनैलिटी. कल जब आप नेक्स्ट डे आते हैं, दो लोगों को जिनको काम देना था वो दे दिया, आफ्टर से 2 आवर्स यू कैन मॉनिटर द प्रोग्रेस, देन बिफोर लीविंग जो काम कंप्लीट हो गया उनको स्ट्राइक ऑफ कर दीजिए, यू कैन ऐड मोर. सो ऑलवेज प्रिपेयर ए टू डू लिस्ट दैट विल हेल्प यू मेक एन ऑर्गेनाइज पर्सनैलिटी. ऑफिस पॉलिटिक्स, unfair treatment, frequent change, responsibility without authority, hypocrisy. These are some of the factors that demotivate all of us. Now, let us have a look at techniques of motivating, first of all, self. Uh, just as there are two types of motivation, there could be two main strategies for motivating yourself. You make the task more intrinsically satisfying. काम तो करना है, enjoy करके भी करना है और रो के भी करना है. Let us enjoy the work. Let us enter the classroom with an attitude, I am going to enjoy my students. Give them smile. Not, don't enter the classroom with an attitude, oh, today again this is a class. Huh? Today again I have to go to the institute. No, you are, that shows your willingness, eagerness. You are enjoying the aspects. And try to provide your own in extrinsic rewards. कभी आपने दिया है सेल्फ रिवार्ड? ओके, वंस आई फिनिश दिस आई विल हैव ए गुड कॉपी विद माय फ्रेंड्स. घर में भी से आप घर में अपने बच्चों को बोलते हैं कि आज हम ये जो है घर को इसको क्लीन करेंगे, एंड आफ्टर क्लीनिंग इट वी विल गो टू सम रेस्टोरेंट एंड हैव गुड मील. दैट इज सेल्फ रिवार्ड. So change your attitude and approach to undesirable task. For example, you want to reorganize your filing cabinet. It may not be motivating in itself, but being seen as a competent and organized person might provide you some intrinsic motivation for you. By thinking of filing in a particular way, for example, you can connect completing the task with meeting your needs. So run your own race. Think about why you do what you do. Sometimes you may start to think that your job is pointless, so why to bother? But a great way to increase self motivation is to list all the positive outcomes of your job. setting smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound, and also prepare an action plan. You can also think about alternative action plans also. हाँ, फॉर एग्जाम्पल मान लीजिए मैंने आप लेक्चर पढ़ाना है, आई विल बी डेवलपिंग माई लेक्चर विद द हेल्प ऑफ पीपीटी, बट अचानक बिजली चले जाती है, मे बी आपकी पेन ड्राइव करप्ट हो जाती है, तो आपके पास ऑल्टरनेटिव क्या है? यू हैव गॉट वन प्रिंट आउट ऑफ PPT, that is handout printout. Okay, so you will say, okay, no problem, I can handle my lecture with the chalkboard only. So that will give you confidence if you have alternatives also. Sometimes the task seems so large and you do not know from where to start. So better you can break down the task into smaller subtasks. Okay, so जैसे मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया, organizing the entire filing cabinet may be too large a task to do all at once. So what you can do is you can start alphabetically, or you can start with the first section of files. जैसे ही वो अरेंज हो गया, you feel very happy. Next day, maybe after 1 hour, you can go for second shelf also. That is the example. That is, you can break down the task into smaller pieces and build in accountability. Tell your colleague, your you see seniors about your task. So it will definitely help you to motivate you if you know that someone else is expecting you to complete the task. Master time management, very important thing, and you have to be positive in your attitude also. Both these components would be dealt with by me in the afternoon. You see, time is the only resource which the Almighty God has given to all of us in equal quantity. I say to all of us, whether the person is rich or poor, whether the person is intelligent or ignorant, everybody has got 24 hours a day or 365 days a year. देखो, भगवान ने किसी को पैसा कम दे दिया, ज़्यादा दे दिया, सेहत अच्छी दे दी, खराब दे दी, लेकिन ये एक ऐसी चीज़ है जो कुदरत ने सबको एक समान मात्रा में दी है, और इसका जो सदुपयोग करता है, प्रोडक्टिवली यूटिलाइज करता है, वो टाटा बिरला बन जाते हैं. ओके, और जो जो दोज हु टेक टाइम फॉर ग्रांटेड, they will be in the previous place only. So don't procrastinate. Okay, don't postpone things on to next day. Reward yourself. Make an agreement with yourself to give yourself a kind of reward. Scare yourself with the negative, you see, consequence of not doing it. So if not doing the task is going to get you in trouble with your HOD, please focus on this and scare yourself into doing it. Love yourself. You can love and respect others only if you love and respect yourself. Have faith in your capability. Try to do the SWOT analysis, that is, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, from where I can learn to overcome those weaknesses. Someone junior to you knows many things. Can I go to him? You should not feel any hesitation in learning from your junior. क्योंकि हमने 20 साल पहले पढ़ के आए थे, बीटेक करके आए थे. Now there are a lot of changes now. So I should not feel hesitant in learning from my, you see, junior colleague. And most importantly, try to update your skill. Keep learning. Maintain self-discipline. Self-discipline is a gap between what you want to do and what you actually do. So instead of spending time in daydreaming, Please put in your real effort, prepare a plan, and execute the plan, execute the work as per plan. Don't fear failure. So keep learning, as I said, read, and try to take in everything you can. The more you learn, the more confident you become in starting projects. So let me show you one small pic. This is the you know about the story of a thirsty crow. This was an old crow. It used to put pellets in the pitcher to raise the level of water. Now the modern crow has learned to drink water with the help of a straw. Isn't it? So keep upgrading your skills. Help others. This is needed. Share your ideas. Sometimes you can swap your task with your colleague and you can do something for that person in return. Surround yourself with positive people with positive thoughts. You see, positive thinking is very powerful. Just telling yourself that you can do something, I can do something. And when you are around other positive people, they will support and they will encourage you to keep trying. Create an accomplishment log. Please write on a piece of paper. I'll suggest you एक word file बनाइए. Have two column. The first column will indicate the date, say today's date, and then on the right hand column you write what activities you have carried out today. ये accomplishment log जब आप बनाएंगे, next year when you want to write the ACR, it will give you lot of information. Otherwise जो लोग ये नहीं करते तो उनको अगले साल ACR लिखने में या अपनी अकम्पलिशमेंट डिमॉन्स्ट्रेट करने में बहुत प्रॉब्लम आएगी. आज हमें याद है, कुछ दिन बाद हमें भूल जाएगा कि हमने कौन कौन से काम किए थे. तो प्लीज record all of the times when you are able to motivate yourself. Now coming to the hallmarks of a motivated workplace. Now motivated workplace means people are committed to results and they become responsible for their actions, and there is always open communication, isn't it? Low employee turnover because people love to work, they love to attend, they love to take classes, they are enjoying the activities, so the employee turnover will be very less. Creativity and ingenuity will be, because if the person is willing, is self motivated, he would like to be giving more ideas. You have created an environment, climate where people can demonstrate their ingenuity or creativity. There will be teamwork, collaboration, and excellent customer service both internally and externally. But there are certain myths. Myth is that everyone is in agreement in a motivated workplace. Don't think so. You should appreciate the diverse views also. Okay, motivated people work plenty of overtime. No, it means they have not made a plan, they have not prioritized their work. Employees who are motivated don't need much input from management. It is wanted. A formal plan for motivating employee is not necessary. It is necessary, and money motivates best. It is not always. You see that money is not the only motivator, I would say. Now coming to techniques of motivating others. Firstly, set smart goals. For setting smart goal for your colleagues, you can involve them, because when they are involved, they will say that these are our goals. These are not our boss's goal. So when you are setting goals for your colleagues, do involve them. Okay. And
Excuse me, sir.
Haji,
So there is a question of previous topic, because now we are discussing techniques of motivating others.
Haji,
Before we have discussed self-motivating techniques.
Haji,
So I want to ask कि थोड़ा सा confusion है sir. आई थिंक
बोलिए।
सर, आई थिंक जनरली जो नॉर्मल बीइंग्स हैं, एवरेज बीइंग्स हैं, उन्हीं की संख्या ज्यादा है और उनको एक एवरेज मोटिवेशन अपनी लाइफ में रहता है. दैट्स व्हाई ही कैन डू और ही इज परफॉर्मिंग और ही कैन परफॉर्म एंड ही कैन रेगुलेट हिज ओन लाइफ. लेकिन वो हाई हाई मोटिवेटेड हो जाएंगे तो वो बेटर होगा. बट सर मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वो नॉर्मल मोटिवेशन जो उनको चला रहा है वो प्रॉब्लम तब पैदा करता है जब हर आदमी की लाइफ में एक आध बार ऐसी सिचुएशन जरूर आती है कि वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा डीमोटिवेटेड हो जाता है. किसी भी सर्कमस्टेंस, कोई स्पॉन्टेनियस इवेंट क्रिएट हो गया, कोई रैंडम इवेंट ऐसी लाइफ में आ गई, तो वो सडनली बहुत ज़्यादा डीमोटिवेटेड हो जाता है. तो जो टेक्निक्स आपने बताई सर, क्या उन टेक्निक्स को वो यूज़ कर पाएगा उस कंडीशन में जब उसका स्टेट ऑफ माइंड बहुत ज़्यादा डीमोटिवेटेड है? क्योंकि
फॉर
नॉर्मल
एग्जाम्पल,
बीइंग.
आप बताएंगे कौन सी टेक्निक जो मैंने बताई है जो वो नहीं यूज कर सकता?
नहीं, नहीं सर, बिकॉज़
जैसे मैं जैसे मैंने बोला कि भाई अगर उसको लगता है कि भाई काम बहुत लंबा चौड़ा है, उसको ये समझ नहीं आ रहा कि कहाँ से स्टार्ट करूं, ही कैन
नहीं सर, वो
स्टार्ट
अपनी
फ्रॉम एनीवेयर, वो
नहीं
कहीं
सर,
से भी
ये
स्टार्ट।
वो अपनी लाइफ में बहुत ज्यादा, मतलब उस सिचुएशन को हैंडल करते हुए बहुत ज्यादा डीमोटिवेटेड हो चुका है. सपोज एन एग्जांपल, अभी कोटा में और इस तरह के इंस्टीट्यूशंस के जो हब हैं, कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन, वहाँ पे सुसाइड के केसेस बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ रहे हैं. तो उसका रीजन ये हो सकता है कि वो कहीं ना कहीं से लैक ऑफ मोटिवेशन ही है उन बच्चों के अंदर, स्टूडेंट्स के अंदर, जो उनको इस तरह के केसेस जनरेट करने के लिए प्रेरित कर रहा है. क्योंकि मोटिवेशन तो सर नेगेटिव भी हो सकता है. नेगेटिवली मोटिवेट हो रहा है तो वो नेगेटिव स्टेप लेंगे, पॉजिटिव होंगे
हाँ,
तो वो पॉजिटिव लेंगे.
हाँ,
तो
देखिए ना, ऐसा
उस
है।
कंडीशन से कैसे उनको
अब
उबारा जाए?
हाँ, मैं उसके लिए ये बोल रहा हूँ कि
क्योंकि ये
ये
जो
हम
टेक्निक्स हैं वो नॉर्मल बीइंग, जो हम आम आदमी, मतलब जो जिनके अंदर कोई ऐसा मोटिवेशनल डिफेक्ट नहीं है, जो बहुत ज्यादा हाईली मोटिवेटेड भी नहीं है लेकिन बहुत ज्यादा लो मोटिवेशन के भी शिकार नहीं है, वो नॉर्मल है, एवरेज लाइफ जी रहे हैं, एवरेज एवरेज उनका मोटिवेशन भी है, और उनको इम्प्रोमाइज किया जा सकता है, इम्प्रूव किया जा सकता है विद द हेल्प ऑफ सच टेक्निक्स यू हैव टोल्ड. सो और उस
तो
कंडीशन में, क्योंकि बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है कुछ चीज को समझना ही और कोई टेक्निक को अडॉप्ट करना सर. तो थोड़ा सा आप इसको अगर एक्सप्लेन करेंगे
हाँ,
सर, अच्छा लगेगा.
मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा इसके लिए, हम ही रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं जो आपने सुसाइड वाले केसेस बोले, क्योंकि हम एज ए पेरेंट वी गिव लॉट ऑफ प्रेशर टू द इंडिविजुअल। देखो वो उनका बच्चा कितना लायक है, तुम जो है लायक, तुम जो ये काम नहीं कर रहे, तुम्हारे में ये कमियां हैं, जब हम हमेशा पॉइंट आउट करते रहेंगे, हम अप्रिशिएट नहीं करेंगे कि वो क्या अच्छा कर सकता है। हैं, क्योंकि हर एक बंदे की इंडिविजुअलिटी है, देयर आर इंडिविजुअल डिफरेंसेस। जो एक व्यक्ति एक एक्टिविटी में एक्सेल कर रहा है, वो दूसरा व्यक्ति किसी और एक्टिविटी में एक्सेल करेगा। तो ये चीज हमें देखना कि मेरा पैशन क्या है, मैं क्या बनना चाहता हूँ, क्या मैं फोर्सफुली, मेरे को जो है वो एनवायरनमेंट दिया जा रहा है, ये भी एक सिचुएशन है। अब कई बच्चे जो हैं दिल्ली से, कोई पंजाब से, कोई J&K से, दे आर गोइंग टू कोटा। ठीक है, अब कोटा में फैमिली नहीं है उनके पास, बच्चा अकेला है, वो किसी से शेयर नहीं कर सकता। क्लासरूम में वहां पर 200 बच्चे बैठे हुए हैं। हाँ, वो देखता है कि भी वो बच्चे तो आगे निकल रहे हैं, तो वहां पर इंडिविजुअल अटेंशन जो है वो नहीं मिल रही। क्या जरूरी है कि भी कोटा जाने वाला बच्चा ही IIT में जाएगा? ये यू हैव टू थिंक ओवर इट।
Sir, one more thing, sir. Here, it is a very, very crucial problem, I think, in today's environment for youth and society also. So we should, think over it very properly. This is
यस,
related
यस,
to motivation. This is related to topic motivation, sir.
यस सर, यू आर राइट, यू
जी,
आर राइट।
जी. और जैसे आपने बताया कि बच्चे के ऊपर प्रेशर रहता है अपने पेरेंट्स का, तो पेरेंट्स के ऊपर भी तो सर प्रेशर रहता है पूरी सोसाइटी का. उसके पास
नहीं
सोसाइटी
क्यों
का प्रेशर है.
नहीं
और
नहीं
इतना
क्यों
ज्यादा सर उस एज में बच्चा इतना ज्यादा अवेयर ही नहीं हो पाता है कि वो समझ सके कि वो सच में, दिस इज द सर लैक ऑफ एजुकेशन सिस्टम, आप कुछ भी कह लीजिए. इंटरमीडिएट और ग्रेजुएशन लेवल तक बच्चे को अपना गोल प्रॉपरली क्लियर नहीं हो पाता है आज के दौर में। और जो आइडेंटिफाइड गोल्स हैं ऑलरेडी सोसाइटी में, उन्हीं की तरफ सारे बच्चे प्रेरित हो रहे हैं। अभी रिसेंटली आप देख रहे होंगे, यूपी पुलिस का एग्जाम हुआ यहाँ पे, उसका तो 50 lakhs के अराउंड सर एप्लीकेंट्स यहाँ पे, काफी अव्यवस्था हो गई यहाँ पे। तो अब उसके लिए सर जो अनआइडेंटिफाइड गोल्स हैं उनको कैसे तलाशा जाए लाइफ में। जो आइडेंटिफाइड गोल्स हैं उसी को लेके आदमी मोटिवेट हो सकता है। किसी को कंपटीशन की प्रिपरेशन करनी है, किसी को इंजीनियरिंग में आगे बढ़ना है, किसी को मेडिकल्स में जाना है। तो इसके अलावा जो दूसरे मोटिवेशंस हैं वो कैसे, या दूसरे मोटिव्स या दूसरे स्टिमुलस कैसे लाइफ में क्रिएट किए जाएं।
देखो, एक तो पेरेंट हैं, तो पेरेंट को एनकरेजिंग जो है, कंपैरिजन नहीं उनके साथ रखना, बच्चे को मोटिवेट करना। ओके बेटा, आपने अच्छा परफॉर्म किया तो अगली बारी और इससे बढ़िया परफॉर्म करोगे, यू कैन डू इट। यानी ये कुछ चीजें ऐसी है, कुछ पेरेंट जो है बिना मतलब के उनको प्रेशराइज करते हैं। इवन टीचर भी, यार ये तेरे से तो हो ही नहीं पाएगा, हाँ तू तो बिल्कुल निकम्मा है। भैया वो निकम्मा है, वो किसी और चीज में उसका पैशन। अभी देखिए इंडियन आइडल में एक बच्चा जो है परफॉर्म कर रहा है, इतना अच्छा सिंगिंग कर रहा है, वो बीटेक कर रहा है, लेकिन उसको बीटेक में मजा नहीं आ रहा, उसको इस प्रोफेशन में मजा आ रहा है। लेकिन अभी हम ये सोच रहे हैं कि ये प्रोफेशन जो है वो इतना बढ़िया नहीं है सिंगिंग का, इसको लोग जो है गलत निगाह से देखते हैं। लेकिन नहीं, आपको जिसमें एरिया, अभी आपने देखा है वो फिल्म देखी थी उसका 3 इडियट्स, वो इट इज अ फुल ऑफ मोटिवेशन। हैव यू वॉच दैट वीडियो,
जी सर।
दैट, है ना? तो उसमें वो
बट
यही कहता था ना कि
बट
आपका
ये
पैशन।
ये ये चीजें सर सिनेमा पे देखने तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है
नहीं नहीं,
देख,
रियल
बट
लाइफ में
रियल
ये
लाइफ में सर
पॉसिबल है।
बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है। आई
तो
थिंक
सर ऐसा
बच्चे
है
को मोटिवेट करना तो थोड़ा सा सर वाकई में मतलब इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टास्क कि सर
हाँ
कैसे
या
दूसरा, क्योंकि देखिए जो बाकी के अदर फील्ड्स हैं उनकी प्रोबेबिलिटी बहुत रेयर है। जैसे वो डांसिंग में एक्सपर्ट हो जाएगा, वो स्पोर्ट्स में जाएगा तो बहुत अच्छा कर ले जाएगा। तो एक पेरेंट सोचता है कि उसमें इसको डालेंगे तो पैसा तो लगेगा, अब मिडिल क्लास फैमिली की सोच है। तो वो आर्टिस्ट बनना चाहेगा तो उसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी सक्सेस की कितनी है उस पर डाउट है। लेकिन अगर वो इंजीनियर बन जाएगा तो इसकी थोड़ी सी उसको प्रोबेबिलिटी लगती है कि वो महीने का इतना अर्न तो कर ही लेगा, अपनी लाइफ तो जी ही लेगा। तो इस तरह के जो डेरिवेटिव्स हैं, इस तरह के जो मोटिव्स हैं, वो
आप
पेरेंट्स को भी फोकस्ड है सर।
मैं आपको बताऊं, यहाँ पर हमारे निटर में लास्ट वीक एग्जाम हुआ था एमटीएस का, मल्टीटास्किंग स्टाफ, जिसके लिए 10th क्वालिफिकेशन है मिनिमम। ठीक है, जो बच्चे 17 बच्चे जो सिलेक्ट हुए हैं, उनमें से 2 बच्चे एमटेक किए हुए हैं, 4 बच्चे बीटेक किए हुए हैं, किसी ने एमकॉम किया हुआ है, किसी ने एमए इंग्लिश की हुई है। और उनका जॉब रोल क्या है एमटीएस का? डस्टिंग करनी टेबल के ऊपर, फाइलों को इधर से उधर ले जाना है। यानी हम ये सोचते हैं कि बीटेक करके एमटेक करके मुझे 15,000 या 20,000 कई इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज दे रहे हैं, गवर्नमेंट में सबको जॉब नहीं मिल रही। ठीक है,
दिस इज द रियल सिचुएशन सर,
हाँ,
दैट्स व्हाई आई एम
तो
आस्किंग कि
वो
उसके
कहते
बावजूद भी श्योरिटी नहीं है, और उस कंडीशन में एक बच्चे को, यार एक एप्लीकेंट को मोटिवेट रहना भी पड़ेगा
हम्म।
है ना सर।
चलिए, मैं अपना यहाँ पर इस थीम को थोड़ा सा हटा के आपको एक दो वीडियो दिखाना चाहूंगा। ठीक है, वो आप वीडियो देखिए जरा।
Hello, sir.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, जस्ट
Hello.
आप
Myself Rakesh Singh from JITM Lucknow. Sir, I want to ask one question. Uh, Suppose that I did somewhat negative motivation and I want to punish ourselves, then what I have to do for this purpose? Which
देखिए
type of
ऐसे, यू
which
हैव,
type of punishment I can give ourselves?
हाँ, what punishment you can give, you can
जी
think over it that I have committed a mistake, try to learn a lesson from that mistake, and make yourself so much motivated that I will not repeat this kind of act in future. And before taking any you see action in future, I can discuss with my elders कि भाई वो बता सकते हैं कि भाई ये काम करने में क्या फायदा है। देखिए, आप अगर पनिश करेंगे, आप क्या करेंगे? कोप भवन में बैठ जाएंगे, यू विल बी आइसोलेटेड योरसेल्फ। नो, वो कोई हल नहीं है। you need to learn lesson from your mistake, you have committed, thing is done, so you have to move ahead। अभी मैं आपको ये छोटी सी वीडियो दिखा रहा हूँ, Please watch this video, wonderful video. हाँ जी, तो ये वीडियो आपने देखी। हाँ जी, तो इसमें आपने क्या देखा? What is 212 degree? 212 degree is the perfect boiling temperature of boiling water in degree Fahrenheit, isn't it? And the video began with that at 211 degree water was hot, and at 212 degree it started boiling, and boiling water gave rise to steam, or steam से locomotive engine चला. And this video said that it is just a matter of 1 degree of extra effort that makes the best and the average. Okay, और इसमें 5 मेन एट्रीब्यूट्स आपको बताए गए. 212 डिग्री एटीट्यूड, दैट योर एटीट्यूड शुड बी परफेक्ट. Attitude towards colleagues, attitude towards students, attitude towards technology, attitude towards your own subject should be perfect. Then 212 degree uh, kindness, you have to be kind. 212 degree belief, yes, yes I can do it, yes I can do it, yes I can do it. Then 212 degree focus, your goal should be clear. And 212 degree perseverance, perseverance क्या होता है? लगे रहो, continue giving your effort continuously. That is, so this is 212 डिग्री. एक डिग्री की वजह से आप जो है अपना अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं कर सकते. एक छोटी सी वीडियो में आपको और दिखाऊंगा.
Sir, video was very nice and very knowledgeable. और जो concept आप बताना चाह रहे हैं वो भी सर अच्छा लगा. Sir, but सर आप दिखाइए next video, then we will put the question.
हाँ हाँ. हाँ जी।
जी सर।
तो अभी देखिए क्लासरूम में भी मोटिवेशन क्यों नहीं है, क्योंकि हम क्लास के टॉपिक को, लेक्चर को रिलेट नहीं करते विद एग्जांपल फ्रॉम देयर डेली लाइफ, विद एग्जांपल्स फॉर वर्ड ऑफ वर्क। क्लासरूम में भी जनरली हम स्टूडेंट्स को डिक्टेशन देते हैं, वो कहता है कि मैं क्यों आऊँ लेक्चर में, ये चीजें सारी किताब में अवेलेबल हैं। ओके, क्या नई चीजें बताने जा रहे हो। ऐसे ही क्लास में जब आप एंटर करते हो, आप कहते हो टुडे माय लेक्चर इज दिस, टुडे माय टॉपिक इज दिस, टुडे आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक टू यू अबाउट दिस थिंग। तो स्टूडेंट का रिएक्शन क्या होता है, कहते हैं सर दिस इज योर हेडेक, प्लीज गो एंड ब्रेक योर। आपको एक्सप्लेन करना है रैशनल इंपॉर्टेंस सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ टॉपिक, व्हाई दिस इज वेरी मच रेलेवेंट, एंड इसका क्या रिलेशनशिप है विद डेली लाइफ, विद एग्जाम, विद वर्ड ऑफ वर्क। तो हमें, मैंने जैसे बोला ना कि यू कैनॉट फोर्स योर स्टूडेंट टू लर्न, बट यू कैन ऑलवेज मेक देम वांट टू लर्न बाय सॉल्टिंग द टेक्निक ऑफ योर टीचिंग। चटपटा बनाना है, वो क्लासरूम में मोटिवेटेड होगा तभी क्लासरूम में वो आएगा, लर्न करेगा। तो यही मैं कहना चाहता हूँ, पॉजिटिव रहिए और ये सोचिए कि यस मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, मैं ये कर सकता हूँ। जब आप 10 बार बोलेंगे ना, जोर से बोले यस आई कैन डू इट, ये आपके पास इतनी एनर्जी आएगी ना, यू विल बी एबल टू डू एनी एक्टिविटी। लेकिन आपको गोल क्लियर करना पड़ेगा पहले कि मेरा गोल क्या है, उसके लिए मैंने रूट बनाना है।